Welcome to Module 3A of the S4 Virtual Bootcamp Installation Planning. In order to protect the health of both our staff and our partners, we made the decision to discontinue our 2-day bootcamp training sessions. We hope that this series of presentations captures the essence of an in-person bootcamp. I'm Steve Jones, your presenter for this module. The S4 Open Appliances are unique in that they implement a three-way integration. Both the Metasys Supervisory Controller and multiple BACnet clients can coexist at the same time. The S4 Open Appliance acts as the gatekeeper to coordinate access to the N2 bus and devices. A major function of the N2 router is to throttle the Ethernet speed BACnet transactions down to the speed of the N2 bus. A transparent caching service improves performance and protects the N2 bus from aggressive BACnet clients. This image represents a typical Generation 2 Metasys installation. The NCM was used for large buildings, the N30 was used for small buildings. The current generation of Metasys utilizes various models of the NAE or NIE for branch installed systems. These systems provide their user interface via an onboard web server. The Facility Explorer, a Tritium derivative, is used by the JCI ABCS franchisees. The S4 Open Appliances go significantly beyond the functionality of a communications gateway by automating as much of the integration and commissioning process as is practical. Always remember that it is an integration process, and the first step should always be validating the integrity of the N2 bus and the operational status of all N2 devices. If devices are not working properly before the integration is applied, the situation will only become worse because of the volume of transactions that can be generated by the BACnet ecosystem. Allocate time to reprogram, recommission, repair, or replace N2 devices as required before doing the integration. Failing to take these steps significantly raises the risks and therefore costs of an integration. As mentioned earlier, the N2 bus will be driven harder than ever before, and any latent problems are likely to be exposed. Test the N2 bus with a digital voltmeter or the S2 device and utility. Use HVAC Pro and GX9100 to validate the configuration or recommission N2 devices. The M2 package is available from the S4 group. RS485 repeaters need to be installed following the RS485 standard. This was not always done with Metasys installations because the NCM had custom circuitry. Repeaters age just like any other electronics and may be the source of intermittent problems. RS485 wiring standards must always be followed. T or Y connections will cause problems. These are especially likely in cases where an installation was modified along the way. The S4 Open Management Console contains a configure wizard that will discover all N2 Open, VMA, and System91 devices on the bus. Assign S4 device templates to all application-specific controllers. Identify vendor, Metasys integrator, and Centaurus integrator devices. Identify DX9100 systems. The S4 device templates are included for each Metasys hardware type and application. S4 provides a utility that parses the DX9100.dmo configuration file and generates a custom template exactly matching the device program. Publishing to BACnet is automatically initiated upon completion of the configure wizard. This sets the stage for introducing a new BACnet-based operator workstation, building level control, and value-added applications. After the initial integration is complete, you need to keep the legacy N2 devices operational throughout the life of the system. Remember, you are depending on field devices that may be 25 or more years old. They are operating way beyond their anticipated service life. In order to guarantee the end-to-end integrity of the system, you need to have a plan in place to repair, reprogram, recommission, or replace the legacy N2 field devices as needed. The long-term goal is to transition everything to a current generation BACnet installation. Until that goal is completed, the legacy field devices must be maintained. N2 devices were workhorses, but they are aging and will eventually need to be replaced. The long-term goal should always be to phase them out in a coordinated way that fits your budget and the operational profile of the building. By coordinating the BAS upgrade with major building renovations, it is possible to achieve substantial savings. The confirmation that the N2 router has done its job and the transition was successful is when there is no longer a need for its services and it can be uninstalled. Celebrate the success. The N2 router is completely transparent to the Metasys Supervisory Controller and Operator Workstation. As far as they are concerned, it is business as usual. Metasys head ends are aging and could fail at any time. As with the field devices, Metasys Supervisory Controllers have been workhorses. However, as they age, you need to look at them as a single point of failure. If the Metasys Supervisory Controller fails, you will lose all the services it is providing. Therefore, it is wise to use this option as part of your overall transition strategy, not as a long-term solution. Your new building level controller needs to assume the services previously provided by the Metasys Supervisory Controller. Value-added BACnet-based applications such as dashboards, analytics, continuous commissioning, demand response, energy management, etc. can be added to the legacy Metasys installations without impacting the operation of the installed legacy system. This feature is unique to the S4 Open Appliances. It is most applicable to critical environments such as hospitals, chip manufacturing plants, or pharmaceutical manufacturing. When the N2 router is inserted between the Metasys Supervisory Controller and the field devices, it becomes the gatekeeper for access to the field devices. It determines if the Metasys Supervisory Controller or a BACnet client has access to the points on the N2 field devices at any instant in time. It guarantees that any initiated transaction will be completed before allowing another transaction to be submitted to the N2 bus. N2 transactions submitted by the Metasys Supervisory Controller participate in the BACnet Priority Array Mechanism and follow all the rules of the Priority Array. BACnet-enabled value-added applications may be locally hosted or be cloud-based applications. It is business as usual from the standpoint of the Metasys Supervisory Controller, the Operator Workstation, and building operations. The BACnet application has full read, write, override, and release functionality for all N2 points. It is risky not to plan on replacing the Supervisory Controller. They are aging devices. The Supervisory Controller controls all communications in the Metasys network. If it stops working, all Metasys Supervisory global operations stop. The N2 router is compatible with all generations of Metasys Supervisory Controllers, the Companion Facilitator, NCM, N30, NAE, and FX series. The N2 field devices normally do not include a time clock, so they must rely on the head end for scheduling activities. An example of Metasys global variables is an outside air temperature sensor on one N2 device may be shared with other N2 devices on the same N2 bus or with N2 devices on other Metasys networks. Custom logic is coded into the NCM or other supervisory controls with GPL, JC Basic, or other languages. In summary, the process is: discover and emulate the legacy Metasys N2 devices as BACnet devices. Add a new BACnet-based head-end or value-added services. Determine if coexistence with the legacy Metasys Supervisory Controller is needed or if it should be eliminated before doing the integration. Provide ongoing maintenance and support for the entire system while it is in operation. Eventually, phase out all legacy devices as the migration to an open BACnet installation is achieved. Many of you have heard me say over the years, we are not successful until you are successful. Thank you for your time and attention. Do not hesitate to contact us if you have questions about the S4 Open BACnet-N2 Router or would like to discuss a specific project that we might work together on to create yet another success story.